Welcome back to Wire to Run, where our shoes hit the pavement and the dopamine hits just right.
It's episode 12, which means we have officially made it to the final episode of season 1. And honestly, what an incredible season it's been. Can you believe it?
I know it surely has 12 episodes. It went by in a flash. So I'm
I mean, we have a bi-weekly podcast. I wish we could do it weekly if our schedules allowed, but it's an incredible ride. 6 months pretty much. But when this podcast started, really the hope was to create just a space where ADHD and running intersected, where our mindset and our motivation and real life could kind of all come together in a really honest, transparent way. But I think what made this season so meaningful is not just these conversations we've had along the way, it's what you, our listeners, have helped create around them. You've helped build a community where ADHD athletes can feel seen, understood, and heard, encouraged, and less alone.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely really loved hearing everyone's stories, the messages that we've received, the song submissions, all the shares, the way we've connected with you and you with us through this podcast. You've really turned Wire to Run into something much bigger than just a podcast.
It's true. It's been such an honor to get to know you and learn alongside you as we explore really how ADHD intertwines with training and running, emotion, motivation. And we talked a heck of a lot about identity this season and everything that kind of happens in between the miles, everything that kind of goes on up here in our minds.
Absolutely. And while this is the final episode of season 1, it's definitely not the finish line. And I can say for myself, I'm very stoked
I know you're stoked.
for season 2 and all the, incredible guests, the conversations and topics that we have planned for season 2, and cannot wait to keep uncovering more of what it means to be an ADHD athlete and to keep building the community with you.
Yeah, definitely. So today, as we close out this season 1, we just both want to say thank you so much. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and helping make Wired to Run what it's becoming. It's not just a podcast, it's this awesome community that's starting to form. And thank you so much for all the emails, messages, ratings, the outreaches. We're getting to know you. It's amazing. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And we look forward to season 2, getting to know y'all much better. Today's episode is a conversation about motherhood, running, ADHD, guilt, goal setting, and the reminder that moms are still allowed to want something for themselves. Because so often, moms, grandmothers, guardians, and family caretakers are the ones making sure everyone else is okay. Everyone else is packed, fed, scheduled, encouraged, supported, and taken care of. And somewhere in the middle of all that, their own goals can start to feel optional, inconvenient, or even selfish. But today we want to talk about the opposite. We want to talk about what it means to put the oxygen mask on yourself, to set goals without guilt, to make space for running, training, and dreaming. Not because you're ignoring your family, but because you're still a whole person with goals, needs, and a journey of your own. And we're so happy to have our friend Stephanie back with us for this conversation. Stephanie's been on the podcast in the past, and we loved her honesty, humor, and real life perspective she brought the first few times. So we could not think of a better person to help us talk through this messy, beautiful reality of motherhood, ADHD, training, and learning how to show up for yourself without apologizing for it. So, Stephanie, welcome back to Wire to Run. I'm so happy to have you here again.
Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Fun, they said. So true. Oh, we love our kids, though, don't we?
Absolutely.
Welcome back. I'm so happy you're here with us today.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're my guest co-host, so we don't have Will on the podcast today because it's a Girls' Day episode. So, Oh, well, moms are allowed to have goals, not someday, not after everyone else is taken care of now. So I want to see how you feel about that. Get your thoughts on that. We don't have to wait until the kids graduate from high school or college to have goals and accomplish them.
No, and there are a lot of married couples that get divorced once they're empty nesters, and part of that is that they spent their entire marriage basically losing themselves, losing each other because they concentrated so much on the kids. And so I've thought about that. And part of it is because they also didn't have anything for themselves. They didn't
Hmm.
know who they were or they forgot who they were before they had kids or their entire existence revolved around their kids, which, you know, is not terrible or bad or anything wrong with it. But you also have to plan for the future, and what is that gonna look like when you're an empty nester? How are you who are you gonna be when you don't have those kids to do anything for?
That's true. They're going to go on and have their own families maybe someday, or go live abroad and do their own thing.
Exactly, and then when they leave and you're an empty nester, and when they look back, what kind of example are you setting for when they become parents? Like, do you want them to have no sense of self once their children, your grandchildren, are out of the house?
Right.
So that's kind of also what's guided me in trying to keep some grasp of a separate person besides being 11 and 6's mom,
Hmm.
besides being my husband's wife. And the funny story, when I was exiting out of the military, my husband was still in, and I remember having an absolute nervous breakdown because,
Mm.
when you're a spouse of a military member within that FRG, the family readiness group, you're so and so's spouse, you're so and so's wife, you're so and so's husband, and that is your basically identity within the group, and that's fine. But when I was exiting the army, I saw the family readiness phone tree. So basically, when something bad happens, when they're deployed or anything, there's a phone tree of who's calling who to make sure that everyone gets the information disseminated in a very orderly, quickly fashion. And I saw on there, CW2 Humphrey's wife, and I
Mm.
started crying. I'm like, "That's all I'm gonna be now. I'm
Wow.
just his wife. I'm no longer Captain Humphrey. I am
Mm.
CW2 Humphrey's wife."
Mm.
And I felt a part of me, like, being
Like an
lost when I
identity
was
crisis?
a little bit, yeah. Because,
Mm.
for my entire 4 years of college and then 6 years in the military, so we're talking about, 10 and a half years of my life, the past 10 and a half years when I was exiting the Army, I was in the military of some sort. I was in the Corps of Cadets at Virginia Tech and Air Force ROTC, then Army ROTC, and then a commission in the Army, and so I always had this separate identity that I established, and, well, that Army military part was being taken from me, and now I'm just a wife. Wow, this is what am I gonna do now for me to make me, me?
Mm.
So, I was still trying to go back to school and become a PA, ended up going and getting my bachelor's degree in nursing and then ER nurse, then nurse practitioner,
Mhm.
but, yeah, I remember I was just for a while there, I was just his
Wow.
wife. I wasn't Stephanie, I wasn't Captain Humphrey anymore, I was just a wife.
Wow. That's it's interesting you brought that up, because I think that so many, people struggle with that. They lose themselves in their relationships, their marriage, their children, sometimes their careers, that you need something for yourself, your goals, your dreams, and we lose sight of that. If you think about it, when we're children, we dream big, we have imaginations. I know I look at my kids. My younger one has the biggest imagination, and my son, he's grown now, but when he was little, he had the biggest imagination and had the biggest goals. He wanted to be incredible things, and somewhere along the line, we lose that. that innovation and imagination to be whatever we want it to be. And somewhere along the line, we lose that. And then sometimes, as we get older, we get married, or we're in the workforce, and our jobs become our lives. We can lose ourselves in things, and especially single parents, they're
Oh
doing the
gosh,
job of
yes.
both parents, and it's they're killing it every day trying to keep their head above water to take care of their families, and it's so hard. And some of them, the parents don't have the support system to achieve their goals. So my heart goes out to them. Um, so I just want to honor both moms and dads. They're doing the job of both parents. And this is not just for moms, these are for bonus moms and guardians. And there's grandmothers that are taking care of their children, their grandchildren. Yeah, stepping into the mom role
You
and
know, it's funny
aunts and
because I grew up
uncles.
with a lot of, toxic things from my childhood, courtesy of
Mhm.
my, um, birth mother, and so I send a Mother's Day card to my dad. He's
That is
also
really sweet. Oh.
he laughs, and I
Oh.
sent one to my stepmom, but they got married when I
Yeah.
was, 23 or so,
Yeah.
so she had, no bearing on my rearing
Mhm.
whatsoever, but, you know,
Mm. Yeah.
she's an amazing wife to my dad, she's an amazing
Mhm.
grandma to the kids, and,
Mm.
she's a great friend, and, um, I enjoy when they visit because she and I do a lot of,
Mhm.
crafts and hobbies together. It's craft time.
Oh, that's awesome. It's hard, when you grew up with a single parent. Um, so I honor those single parents as well. So, Stephanie, I have a lot of questions for you, as you know, I always do. But
I'd
one of
expect
the
nothing
reasons why I want
less.
no, no, right. You know me very well. You know me very well, but you're a mentor mom to me, and runner. Because you've seen me through some challenging times. You were on our episode 5, I believe, talking about your journey in the military as a breast cancer survivor, through your perfect Disney season while battling breast cancer, helped me through my dopey challenge, pacing me through that. And you've had quite a journey throughout your life, some major challenges, and have helped me through some difficult seasons, and mentored me through that. So I've written and geared specifically to you. And
Oh
because you've
gosh.
helped me through some really challenging times, I think some of these questions you could really help some of our listeners through. So, as a mom, when you've set running goals, do you ever feel like you've ever had to justify why it matters?
Nope, next question. I'm just kidding.
Like you're a liar.
Such a liar.
You know?
Yeah, if I've had to justify it, yes, and justify it to who? And justify it to myself, really,
Mm,
because thankfully, my husband is so incredibly supportive. I'll tell him what I races I wanna do. If it's far enough away, we'll put it on the calendar, and when it comes time for him to bid for his schedule, he's a pilot, he will try his best to work his schedule to where he's off and we don't have to fly my babysitter down, which is my dad, to come stay with kids for, a destination race, which I haven't had many of, thankfully, because I live so close to Disney. Uh, but yeah, I have to justify it to myself. My 10-year goal, I think I mentioned it in one of the appearances, was, all world majors, at least the originals, by the time I'm 50. And well, why is that important, Steph? I don't know. It's quite an accomplishment. Well, is it an accomplishment because you're running the distance? And is it an accomplishment that you got into the race because they're hard? Or is it an accomplishment because you had the expendable income to go do it? And
mm,
I don't know. I don't have that answer.
mhm,
And I've just kind of changed the goal of I'm going to try to get into them, but if I can, awesome. If I can't, oh well.
Mhm.
because, a marathon is a marathon. It's the same 26.2, probably a lot more because you never run the tangents perfectly.
Right.
So, does it matter if it has a fancy brand name to it? Like when I was doing triathlons, I wanted to do an Ironman brand triathlon because I wanted the gear, I wanted the label, the logo. But then after that, I mean, 140.6 miles is still 140.6 miles, whether you do it under this company umbrella or another company's umbrella. Is this reasonable? And talking with my
Mhm.
husband about it, and I tell him like I'm going to put in for, this marathon. He's like, well, you know, do you think that traveling internationally this year is better? Or no,
Mhm.
probably next year or the year after is probably better, as we stand right now. But who knows what that year will bring.
Mhm.
So,
But you're evaluating, you're weighing the pros and cons for based on your family's financial status, where you'll be at that point in time, what you can manage in terms of scheduling, things like that. So you're taking into consideration your family's needs as well. So,
right. And then not to mention, I've trained for marathons obviously before. So it's if you're going somewhere and then you're doing a distance that you haven't done before, you also have to take into consideration the training for that.
why do you think moms sometimes feel guilty for having those personal goals that are not tied to their family? Why do you think moms feel that way?
Society. Fathers will take their children to the park and people like, "Oh my god, you're such a great dad. Oh my god, you're spending quality time with them." And a mom who goes and takes the kids to the park and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, good job. What else are you doing right now?" You know?
Mm.
A dad will take their kids out to eat and the whole family is sitting down, 2 kids and mom and dad. And dad will take a kid to go to the bathroom and, "Oh my god, he's such a great dad." And then mom takes the kids to the bathroom or a kid to the bathroom and, "Well, why couldn't she take the other one too so dad doesn't have to get up next time?" Just
Mm.
different set of expectations, and then you feel the societal pressure, and that gets internalized. So then anything that you do for yourself feels selfish. And then not and I s also,
Wow.
I think it kinda starts from the infancy, the newborn stage, because literally that's when, you don't as a brand new baby needs everything, like, you know,
Mhm.
and if so especially if you're breastfeeding, like, you actually have absolutely no time to yourself with a newborn,
Mhm.
and it gets better, but I think that just kind of continues on because, kids are so helpless, and then you have to do everything, and then it just kind of continues to get reinforced, and
Mm.
then by the time that you do have the freedom for a few hours here or a few hours there, when you put them down and, yeet themselves off the couch or something, then it's already,
You're baby
well,
proofing the entire house.
right, I know, like, kamikaze down the stairs. Then it's already in your mind like, "Oh, I have these free moments, so now I can take care of the laundry, or I can take care of the dishes instead of,
Yeah,
let me go do
taking
a
care of
quick
yourself.
10-minute workout. Let me go, put
Mhm.
put the kid in the stroller and contain them and go around the block."
Right. Absolutely. I think moms really struggle with that. Caregivers that are responsible for their families, their kids struggle with that mom guilt, that caregiver guilt of taking that time for themselves.
Yeah,
Because if they have a sliver of time, they're doing dishes, they're doing laundry, they're running the kids here and there because they feel like they have to be busy taking care of other people, that they have nothing left for themselves.
right.
And that if that goal is not directly tied to their family, then it's not worth doing, or they're selfish. And that's heartbreaking to me.
And I still find myself falling into that mind trap as well, but I've realized over the years that, something's better than nothing, and with the ADHD, I've always been of the all or nothing mindset, you know, full speed
Hmm.
ahead or absolutely nothing, and Then I found these at-home workouts, um, by Carrie Pierce, Power Abs brand, and she's got all these workouts for arms and glutes and legs, and, oh my god, it kicks my butt every time, and I need to s I've been saying for the
Mm,
past 3 weeks, I need to restart. Well, anyways, most of her programs are 10 minutes long, and
mhm,
you can do and they're all at home, require little to no equipment whatsoever, so it's very easy to, throw in a 10-minute workout, you know, do the dishes and then go do an arm workout for 10 minutes and then do something for the kids.
mhm.
Or, hey, sit down and watch this episode of Bluey while I do this 10-minute workout, you know?
So I think what we need to do is just normalize messes. I don't think that we need to have perfect homes with all the laundry done and everything at the end of the day for mom to have to be able to go for a run and get her marathon training run done.
Speaking of, pristine houses, you know what I learned? That the influencers sometimes like rent an apartment or something and they stage it, and that's where they do all their recordings.
Oh,
Like the ones that you see in the kitchen, they'll either have like one clean corner of the kitchen and that's where the camera is facing, or they don't even
wow.
live there and they just use it to film. So it's basically
Oh,
like a influencer studio, air
the
quotes,
magic
if
of
you will.
social media.
I know. I was like,
Wow.
"You sneaky sneaks."
Well, I will tell you, I'm in a season where I have a lot going on. I have not been on my runs. I was sick multiple times with upper respiratory infections back to back to back. After having you on
"Oh,
the
join the
show,
club."
January, we weren't even in the same room. You were sick, and then I was sick. Laid up, I missed a ton of training runs. I had a slight injury. I exacerbated lifting, something I shouldn't have been lifting. So I had not been running in a while. And then I had a bunch of stuff for our son for school and my little one. So yeah, I'm in a season where I'm trying to get it all done and juggle everything and was falling into the pit of I have to do it all and there isn't time for mom. And the second half of May, I have already told Heather. Heather and I are going to try to get some training runs in. Heather Cohen, who I had on the podcast a couple weeks back, we're going to try to get some training in together. I've got to get back into it, and I've got marathon training coming up, and I can't keep putting it off and try to juggle it all. It's just not humanly possible to get it all done. So,
Absolutely not, and that's when, we need to lower our bar of expectations. And
mhm,
I joke with people and they're like, "You just can't have it all." And I'm like, "You
no,
can. You just need to change your definition of all."
yeah. And you have to
Like,
set healthy boundaries. That's the other thing is that once I let one boundary go, I've noticed the threshold for my boundaries start coming down, and it's
and that's a
easier
slippery
for me
slope
to
because
say
it
yes.
depends on what
Yeah,
boundary
yeah,
that you let.
yeah.
So,
And it's easier
yeah,
for me to say yes to things I really don't wanna say yes to. And, I find that I put more on my plate than I want to, and then my training
because
goes.
that I think that and I do that same thing, and it's partly of the ADHD, the rejection sensitivity, because we don't want people to
Mhm.
feel rejected from us,
Yeah.
and it's also and I don't know about you, but my childhood trauma, I don't feel worthy unless I feel useful.
Mm.
So then I overextend myself.
I'm definitely a helper. I love to, somebody's sick, I'm making soup for them or cooking for them or helping them if they're coming recovering from surgery and things like that. But I always feel like I always want to help someone and pitch in. And even Will says, you don't always have to do something, but I'm an empath. I'm always trying to do something for somebody. And I have to
Too.
be aware that I can't split myself into I can't duplicate myself and I wear
You know,
myself out.
I don't know what I was doing, but a while ago, my husband actually said to me, I love that you want to help friends and people, but you can't help them while ignoring your family. And I was like, "Well, ouch." And he was right. I don't
Mhm.
remember the context or how it was perceived that I was neglecting the family. I don't remember, but, you know, it hurt because it was true. but
You
not
do a
because he
lot
won't.
for people, stuff
I
you're always
do.
doing for other people all the time.
Yep.
I'll reach out to you and I'll say, What's up? What are you doing?" You're like, "I'm making this shirt for these people and I'm making this for, this resin project for somebody and I'm helping somebody through this issue." And I'm like, "And I'm pacing this person in this training run or this." I'm like, "You are doing so much. I don't know how you do it all." And you do. You take care of your kids.
Yeah, they're
It's
living their best
incredible.
life, and I'm their chauffeur.
But that's the thing that we're talking about today is making that time for ourselves. We have to draw healthy boundaries with friends, with our family, with our extended family, with extended friends, acquaintances, coworkers, things like that. We have to be really careful what we commit to with neighbors. And, we have neighbors say, "Hey, can you take my kid here or there?" And then they might expect it going forward. People will take
Mm.
advantage of
Yep,
kindness.
and
We have to be
especially if
really
they know that
careful.
you're one not to say no.
Right. Exactly. Have you ever caught yourself shrinking a goal because it felt too selfish or too much to ask for
Yeah,
at that time?
yeah, destination races.
Mm,
Um, there's the Pelkey Running Club weekend coming up for the St. Jude's races in December, and I wanna do that. I'm signed up for Wine and Dine, I'm signed up for Dopey. There's Grandma's Marathon coming up that I wanna go up and do with my friends. There's also a Bird in Hand, but
mhm,
that's and I feel guilty asking for so many of these races because it requires my husband to change his schedule or, you know, take my hobby into consideration when he is requesting his schedule or building his schedule. Because when I'm gone for a weekend, he's obviously he's single parenting, and sometimes
mhm,
some weekend days there are two sports going on, sometimes for the same kid, sometimes for both kids.
mhm. So let me ask you, when you hear the phrase "put the oxygen mask on yourself first," how does it apply to motherhood, having ADHD, and your training?
How does it apply to ADHD? Wow. I think it stems really just from, honestly, mental health. Because when you first say that, I wasn't able to show up for my kids in the calm, present mom that I'm growing to be, because I'm still a work in progress, until I started healing from my childhood trauma
Mm,
and going through CPTSD treatment, so complex PTSD. And finally, when I started doing that and realized that, you know, I wasn't am not broken, and I didn't deserve what my birth mother put me through, and I
mm,
do absolutely love my kids, and I'm not broken in that. It's just that when I'm getting frustrated, it's the unhealed child in me being jealous of my kids for me giving them what I needed. They deserve my best effort.
So you're addressing your mental health was your way of going, "Okay, I know that I need to do this to address this," and then put the oxygen mask on myself moving forward.
Yes, because the oxygen mask applies to mental health or applies to your physical health or whatever. But to me, that's immediately what my mind went to, is that I had to heal myself before I could show up to be there for someone else. It's like, I can't help you through a marathon if I've never done a marathon.
Mhm.
I can't help you through a marathon. I can't help you through bad spots of a marathon if I've never had hard spots during a marathon or a run.
Very true. Thank you for being so personal and vulnerable sharing that.
Of course.
I'm sure there's so many others that are struggling with that, trying to show up for their kids with their past.
And it's funny because, I send you all those like therapy little Facebook reels and Instagram
Mhm.
reels, and those have really helped too because it made me feel less alone. And I wish that I didn't feel less alone, because that means there are a lot of other kids in grown up bodies trying to heal from similar or worse things. You got to have a solid foundation or a solid base before you can build and before you can show up for
Mm,
yourself or for other people.
mm. And you're an incredible mom. I've seen you with your kids. They love you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
You have closeness with your boys that you can see the love in their eyes when they talk to you. They
Thank
look up
you.
to
That means a
you.
lot because I truly feel like I'm screwing up every day.
No, you could when I see your boys with you, they adore you.
You're gonna make me cry. That's all I wanted. Well, I see how a little miss looks at you too, and
Mhm,
is absolutely just a testament to the mama bear in you for fighting for her to grow and to
mhm.
excel despite her challenges.
Yeah,
And I'm so proud of
thank
you
you.
for that.
Thank you.
She's your little broke best friend.
She is my little broke best friend.
She's your little broke
Oh,
best friend.
I love that. But she's grown so much, and I'm so proud of her. But it has been hard, over the years, trying to get interventions. And, the best thing that we did was, get her evaluated early on. And then knowing that she had ADHD early on, and seeing, like I said in previous episodes, going, these patterns look familiar with the ADHD and everything, with her, and with my son. I can understand and empathize and commiserate with their challenges, and it's only made our relationship stronger in our family. So, if anything, I give my children the room to feel their feelings and their space to dream their dreams and go achieve
And I
their
love Will.
goals.
I give him a hard time, but I do love him. He is.
He's the best. He's the best. You do. That's okay. It's good to give him a little hard time sometimes, but he's a very happy-go-lucky guy. I'm very blessed, but he gives me that space to chase those goals. Offer that to him. Obviously, go sign up for whatever races, whatever. He's always challenging himself to try something difficult, and we do that for our kids too. We want to give them that space to do something that's hard, and we support them in it and cheer them on. And it's not cookie cutter because I think a lot of people have an idea of what interests them. Do they want to get into this sport or that sport? And that's not them. My son is not a sporty kid. He doesn't like sports. He never was a kid for soccer, football, baseball. Um, he was a science kid. We supported him in those endeavors. We never made him go into something that he didn't want to
Oh, that's
do.
awesome.
With our little one, she loves to run. She's probably going to do track and field. Her coach already at school is like, she's a runner. She is fast.
Yep.
We want her to do track and field. She's going to be something with track and field, and she wants to do soccer. She gets in with the boys and she gets rough and tumble. So we're trying to find a league that can support kids that have ADHD and autism, things like that. Uh, I'm a heck of an advocate for my kids, and I will fight to the end for them. And that's the thing. I'm the mama bear, so you're right in that. And that's the best way I can support them. And fighting and advocating is hard. So you need that time for yourself. What happens emotionally or mentally when you go too long without making space for yourself, Steph?
I am more easily triggered. I have a very low threshold for BS more than usual, more than my baseline. Right? And I just,
As I
kind
think
of
most
just
parents.
start feeling myself kind of just go into that dark place.
How do you feel that running helps you come back to your family as a better version of Stephanie?
I'm a lot calmer, a little more clear-headed when I was in the throes of between diagnosis and mastectomy, trying to figure out if I wanted a lumpectomy or a mastectomy with or without reconstruction. I would just go on these runs and I just have like just clarity. And it was just a quiet time for my brain to go wherever it needed to go instead of trying to, I'm in the environment of the house of, okay, I just did the dishes. I need to do this. I need to put this on my to-do list. I need to remember to flip the laundry over. I need to go fold this laundry. I need to put that away. I need to WD-40 the bathroom hinges because I'm tired of hearing that every single night. Right, and it's those little
Little
small things
ADHD
that are
things
just
that
constant, like,
aggravate. It
little
does
things,
too.
and, um
How have you learned how to ask for help or communicate your training needs without feeling like you're putting a burden on someone? Or
yeah, so what I would get up before everybody else got up, and I would make that sacrifice to get up before anybody else did, get my run done, get home, maybe shower before everybody else got up, and I already had that time to myself, so my cup was already full, and then I would help the kids get ready for school, and this, of
Mm,
course, is when my husband was home, because sometimes I have to be a single parent as he flies, and he would get up and he would we would both, get the boys ready
mhm,
for school or whatnot, and then I would tell them on the weekend, like, "Hey, I've got 10 miles on the schedule," but I would try my best to get up as early as I could to get most, if not all of it done before, what I say, life started. So, if the boys had a baseball game or
mhm.
he could take both of them, like, "Hey, I'll be doing this and I'll meet you at the field," or whatever. But I would try my best to get everything done before I needed to show up as a
Mhm.
as a as a spouse, parent. And then I feel
So
like
you'd juggle your
when
schedules
I
to make it
hear
work.
people say, "Oh, my spouse doesn't want me to train because it takes too much time away," and they get mad, and I'm thinking, well, I would too if I don't see you making an effort to sacrifice something so you're not putting everything on me. And so, and that's why I think my
Mm,
husband, besides that's just who he is, he's very supportive, but I think that's another reason why, he is very supportive and accommodating for some of my destination races, and me completely disappearing for a Run Disney weekend because all of my
mhm.
friends are coming into town. Our friends are coming into town from the Rise and Run group and the customized training group. And I disappeared for the entire weekend. And he's like, "Hey, am I going to see you tonight before dinner?" I'm like, "Probably not." He's like, "Okay. All right. See you later." I'm like, "Cool." So it really balanced itself out. But I know that he sees me making the effort to not put more on him than needs to be to
Mhm.
accomplish my goals.
You're working together as a team. What would you say to the mom who feels like everybody else's needs have been met before she's allowed to chase something for herself?
That's probably something that society is probably browbeaten into you because I've felt that same. And honestly, when you and
Mm,
I were growing up, society was pushing us that we weren't worthy or desirable unless we were skinny and tan or worthwhile until we made someone else happy. I mean, if you look back in the magazine covers,
mm.
yeah, in the 80s and 90s and the Cosmopolitans and the
In the
Teen
'80s
Vogues
and
and whatever, like
mhm.
10 ways to make your man happy. Personally, like, I would read them. Like,
Yeah.
now I'm just like, his happiness is not dependent on me. No, no. The just no.
Yeah.
And I
Mm,
have
mhm.
seen, as time has progressed and I have seen this paradigm shift, it's these are the best sunscreens to use, and this is how you get fit, and this is how you build muscle for all of these magazines that used to promote get your body bikini ready in 6 weeks. Well, or, hey, eat a balanced meal. This is what a balanced, healthy diet needs to look like so you can fuel yourself for these activities and still, you know, body be functional. And I'm thankful that if I had a daughter, that she would be growing up in this paradigm mindset of fit and athletic is the new, I don't wanna say the word, but, is the goal. And these are things to, make yourself happy instead of
Mhm.
15
Yeah.
days or how to catch a guy, you know? Teenagers, ladies, if you're listening, it doesn't matter what they look for in a woman. Be yourself and the right person will come along. Just be yourself. For someone that has tried to be someone else multiple times for too long in their life, your tribe will find you. just be yourself. When Laura and I started becoming friends, she said something. I said, "Well, my weird likes your weird, you know? Just be yourself and your weird will find someone else's weird,
Mhm.
and then you'll
Exactly.
just be weird together, and it'll be your tight little circle, and then you can just unmask for in front of them and be yourself, and there's no better freeing feeling."
Amen to that. I love that. And there are
Yeah.
friends that you can just let your guard down and just be who you are with them. So, it's true. So, yeah, for that mom that feels like, you have to have everybody's needs met before your own,
And that's impossible. That's impossible,
you're not going to
right?
be
And that's
everything to
impossible to meet
everyone.
everyone's needs. Impossible, because needs are something that are ongoing. You need shelter, you need food, you need love, you need affection. That's not
Mhm.
something that is finite.
I was at one of my jobs when I was younger. I burned myself out in the job really badly, and a coworker gave me, a printout of a jar of Nutella and wrote, "You can't make everybody happy, you're not a jar of Nutella." Because Nutella, almost everyone loves Nutella, not everybody, but can't make everyone happy, you're not a jar of Nutella. It's so true, you're not gonna be everything to everybody, you're not gonna make everyone happy. Steph, let's talk about why setting a personal goal can feel emotionally complicated for moms.
And wow, well, you've got the guilt surrounding, especially if they're older and have sports, because just recently I missed 11's
Mhm,
hockey championship game because of springtime surprise. And that was I felt really guilty and I felt really bad, especially when I told
mm,
him and he's like, "Oh, please come on, it's my championship game." And now mind you, I am at nearly every single practice. I am at every single game unless I'm out of town, or I am at almost every single thing. And I explained to him that, I've had this commitment and I had signed up for this 9 months ago. I didn't know his schedule. I had this commitment, and if I don't go to
mhm.
the last day of the race weekend, then I can't get my medals, and then I've wasted, what was it, $500 or whatever? Um, yeah, and so I felt
Training,
guilty,
yep.
and then I kept reminding
Mhm,
myself, 10 years down the road, is he gonna remember mom didn't show up for my championship hockey game when I was 11 versus my mom was always there for every single sporting event. So when I feel like I'm caught up
that's a great point.
in the trees, I have to look at the forest. Is that does that make sense? Did I mess that up?
Right.
Yeah, hopefully everyone else does too. But,
I get what you're
you
saying,
know,
though.
and I still felt it was important that he sees me going to still do these races, my goals, something that I committed to, even when it requires, sacrifice. My
Yeah,
kids have
yeah.
never been to a finish line unless they're a part of a race that they can remember because, you have to get up so early for the Disney races, and I don't want my husband to have to wrangle them in the reunion lot in the heat and the sun, and when I'm done with the race, I wanna be able to hang out with my friends and talk and, flitter about and, do my rounds as I joke, and I don't want them to be miserable. So,
Mhm.
it was awesome when I was doing New York and my husband had the live feed pulled up on the TV, and they were able to watch me cross the finish line via the internet, and my parents were here too because we didn't know if Matt had to work, and
Wow.
so we had already had them on tap to come down just in case, but he didn't he was able to change his schedule. My parents were like, "Oh, we'll still come down anyways," and, "Okay, cool." So, they all got to watch me cross the finish line of my first world major marathon when I was raising money for breast cancer, and
It's incredible.
I think that was a huge deal to them, at least I'd like to think so. It's something that they'll always remember, and a few years ago, I guess last year, yeah, last year, the 11 said that he wanted to join run club for his 4th grade year because he saw me running and doing races, and he wanted to do races and run like me, and I could not have been more proud. And so
Mm,
he's already done 2 Disney 5Ks and a Disney 10K, and we've done a few other local 5Ks.
that is awesome. I love that. You're a woman of your word and you're a mom of your word. You're setting such a beautiful example. We talked a little bit about that at the end of episode 5, and that was one of my favorite conversations we had that day. Um,
I bring it out in you.
Gosh, why is it that every episode I get choked up?
Yeah, you are setting an example for your kids to look back and, "Look what my mom did. She did this hard thing. She beat cancer multiple times for you, and God, hopefully it's only one time." And, you know, I don't know if I was as vocal about this as I was for other things, but, sometime last year, I had a PET scan, and for those that don't know, a PET scan is, a CT scan with a lot different kind of uptake radioactive tracer dye, just to see if there's any areas of high activity, cellular activity, which is indicative of metastatic disease and or cancer cells. And so a normal value for this tracer uptake is 2.5. Well, I glowed like a Christmas tree. I had 4 spots that were just gigantic light bulbs. 2 of those 4 spots had uptakes of 9 and 11. And the 9 was a pelvic lymph node, and the 11 value was in my lungs. So for a good few months, was I was in such a dark place. Like, I've got cancer. I've got lung cancer, or I've got GI abdominal cancer because
Mm,
why is it in my pelvic lymph node? Or it's everywhere. What is going on? Like, is every single medical journal and studies indicate that anything over 2.53 is indicative of metastatic disease. And me being someone of science, what is the likelihood of that not being cancer when the threshold is 2.5 to 3 and I've got a value of 9 and 11? Like, unheard of. Well, true to form, my
wow.
extremely rare mutation of my VHL gene is, 1 in 10,000 in the US or whatever. Well, my 2 spots seem to be inflammation because I had a biopsy of the pelvic lymph node and it was not cancer. I am
Mm,
just a walking medical abnormality.
thank goodness. I remember that.
I called Bob when I found out, and he started crying. He started crying.
Bob from Rise and Run.
Like, we thought the breast cancer easier to explain to him. I'm like, "We thought breast cancer returned. It didn't. That's why I've been in really a weird mood lately, and I'm sorry that I've, been a little withdrawn, and your kids are gonna look back like, 'Mom beat cancer,' like, 3 times. What? Like, 3 times? And mine are gonna be like, 'Mom beat, cancer and a few other cancer scares,' and then she continued to live her life in the in between. Our bumps
It's
in the
true.
road are,
That's what we're
big
doing.
scary bumps, but you can't let it
They are.
be you. It's a part of your story. It's not your story.
It's true. I mean, we need to we need to reframe this training as restoration because we have been through a lot as moms, especially moms that have been through trauma, moms that have been through cancer, been through loss, been through loss of a, you know, loved one. Um, no matter what we've been through, we need to reframe that. Running can help us regulate and reset and return to be more present. So, because of everything that you've been through, not looking to the past, but looking forward, what is a way that moms or caretakers of family um, How can we reframe that and use training as
It's an
restoration
appointment with
instead of
yourself.
looking at it as selfishness?
Put in your calendar is put it in the calendar is as important as a dental or an eye exam, which I need to schedule one of those. Um, oh, another thing on my to-do list. Um, yeah, it's a meeting, it's a promise to yourself. And you it really starts with you have to believe that you deserve
Mm,
it. Because it really boils down to whether you believe you deserve to have
mhm.
this, and I've told you this before, you need to believe that you are worthy of it, that you deserve it.
What about for the people that say it's
What
selfish?
about them? Those that matter don't care, and those that care don't matter. Because you're gonna find the people that support you truly are the ones that want to see you succeed. And the ones that want to see you succeed are going to help you in whatever way you need. My friend Adam, whenever he has like some, my
Mm,
brother, air quotes, when he has a long training run and for some reason, like his wife, Jen, has some, like their schedules are clashing and they can't make it happen, or he has like a triple 20 weekend or whatever. Like there's been times he's asked, like, I can watch the kids. And I was about to, I or 6, spiked a fever or something, and then, they were able to finagle our schedules, but, I was at the ready to help him accomplish his goal because 'cause he's been working towards some really, really dumb 100-milers. Love the man, but he's just
it's
on a whole
amazing.
different level.
He's incredible.
But, yeah, I mean, those that want to see you succeed will help you. Those that don't want to see you succeed will tell you that you can't do it
Mhm,
because them seeing you
mhm,
succeed will show them that the excuses that they have put forth for themselves don't hold any water. And then that puts a mirror to their face and they're not ready to see
mm.
that.
Let's talk a little bit about special needs parents, as this is an ADHD running podcast. There's a chance that, if you're an ADHD parent, you have neurodivergent children. Let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe you have a child that is neurodivergent, ADHD, autism, OCD, dyslexia, whatever it may be, and you're caring for a child that is high needs, maybe even low needs.
Your nervous system is constantly in that fight or flight mode. So the
Yep,
cortisol is constantly raised, which then, you know, I can go on to all the 4th and 5th order effects down the line, but yeah, I can see
exactly.
it.
We love our children so much, but we do encounter some challenges, and we need to take time for ourselves. And caregivers of special needs kids need that time, and they need understanding and support. Parents of neurodivergent children need understanding and compassion and support as well. So sometimes many parents, single parents also don't get that time to step away to get their training and get a run in just for their mental health. So have open conversations with friends, family who you trust so that you can step away and get that time for yourselves.
Yep. Even if it's just like an at-home quick 10-minute workout sprinkled throughout the day. Get a
Oh,
40-minute workout in 10-minute segments. When I was doing my 10-minute workouts, when I was doing the power arms, 6 was like 3, 4 at the time and wasn't in VPK yet. And t he would keep coming in and kind of not really getting in the way, but interrupting, and so finally, I just bought him his own 1-pound dumbbells. So then he would just do some with me, and then he would be fine, and then he would leave and come back and do a little bit more, and then that was fine because he wanted to feel included. So when I changed the how to feel included, he wasn't interrupting me and stopping me
he was
for
there
me to
right
come
next to you.
do something with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my little one, she does the same thing when Coach Tom gives me some workouts and I can't get to the gym and I have to use my weights at home. Or I'll do some core workouts, like crunches and burpees and things like that. She's right next to me doing them.
And what
It's
what
so cute.
example is that setting for her?
Yeah. That's so true. It's and that kind of actually goes right into my last kind of question or segment is, the idea that kids don't just see the absent parent when you're training or out on the road, on the trail. They may see the courage and discipline and joy and self-respect of getting those goals done. Let's talk just a quick second. We did talk to it briefly earlier. Your sons are seeing you cross the finish line of a world major. And
Yeah,
they're gonna take that and carry that for the rest of their lives, doing 5Ks, and you're setting that example for them, and they're doing run club. My daughter's gym teacher came up to me and said, you know, "Do you can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "Sure." And he says, she is an incredibly fast runner. I said, "Oh, I know," and he says, like, "I think she could be something and do, track and field, as she gets older." And that to me makes me so happy that she loves to run. But she's been seeing me, she's been in 5Ks with me in the stroller since she was a baby,
yeah.
and she's knows about going to races and getting a medal. And the funny story, since she was maybe 2 years old, we would do the 5K race downtown, and it would be dark out when we would go to the race. And every time we'd be going in the dark anywhere, she'd go, "We're going to the race," because she thought every
Oh,
time we were getting in the car in the dark in the morning, we were going to a race.
oh,
That's how it's funny because she's always equated going in the car in the dark to a race in the morning. So she knows she's been brought up going to races, being in the stroller, doing 5Ks in the stroller section of the race in the back of the pack. And now she's signed up for her first official 5K and she's training with me for her first 5K. She did her first training run and she wanted to go further than the 5K. This kid is more than ready and she loves to run. And when she did her first training run, every time she'd run by, she's like, "Look, I'm fast like mama. I'm fast like mama." Mama is not
my heart.
fast. I'm a back of the packer. But to her, I'm
Exactly. It's
fast.
all perspective.
And she looks up to me and she's inspired by her mom. And
That's beautiful. Just what a gift. Just sit with that for a second. Like, what a gift you have given her. What a gift I've given my kids out of the cycle that I am breaking.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
is, and I'm I I think that I'm pretty humble because I downplay my accomplishments a lot, and I know that because we were raised in the you need to, girls shouldn't be proud of their accomplishments or whatever, blah 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 blah. And so I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, no big deal. Yeah, I went through a lot of trauma and I broke the cycle and I'm trying to do better with my kids and no big deal, but
Yeah.
it is a big deal. Um, but the example that you and I are setting, nothing short of amazing of what you and I have had to unlearn from what society has pushed down our throats growing up. My kids are seeing me at 42 years old learning to how to play hockey and going off to these hockey tournaments
Mhm. Yeah.
and play hockey against my 11-year-old when we rent the little tiny puddle rink. And I told him, I'm like, "I'm only learning to play hockey so I can be better than you and beat your
Yes.
butt."
I
So, but he's so much better than me. He's just a phenomenal kid.
They're gonna carry that with them when they're playing hockey. Like, my mom was in her 40s playing hockey with me. Just like my
Yeah.
daughter's gonna be on the trail running with her kids and going, "Your grandma was on the trail in her 40s." I mean, we've got a bunch of races planned coming up in a few, months next year. I've got a couple lined up for her that she doesn't know about yet, but she's already planning her medal hanger. She wants the medals. She wants all of the medals. So, and she'll just sit there in my room and look at all the medals and just be like, "I want this medal, that medal." And she knows what it takes. But the funny thing is, she knows what goes into it. It's not just about a pretty medal. She knows about, like, I know I have to do the work. She says she talks constantly about doing 5Ks with people. Like, and kids are looking at her like, "What the heck is a 5K?" And she's like, but she'll tell you about running and then running on the trail and running. And mom has her Garmin and like, she knows all the lingo and she's a little one, and it's funny because she's already been learning this stuff.
That's
It's
awesome.
funny, and And it's not like me pressing this stuff upon her. Like, she's picking it up. Yeah. And she's excited about it. She wants to learn about it. She's asking questions about it.
She's
So it's
absorbing it.
stuff that I'm just excited
Yeah,
because even if she wasn't into the stuff and she was into another sport, I'd be so excited. But I want to feed that and build her up. And I tell her how proud I am of her. And I said, the second this is not fun, we're done with it. We're not going to do it. If this doesn't make you happy anymore, we're not going to do it. And that's what I
right.
want her to realize. But I hope to continue to set her an example for her because there's nothing better than having a role model or a hero than your mom. She's looking at me, your boys are looking at you at doing hard things that you know,
That
a
other
parent.
people our age are scared to even dream about.
Yeah. It's terrifying to some people, and we're doing it, and our kids are looking at us like we're superheroes. And that is the most beautiful
Mhm.
gift, not only to our kids, but to us as moms to see stars in our kids' eyes and knowing that we're doing something, instilling something amazing discipline and stick to itiveness that they go, my mom did hard things. My mom overcame cancer. Your boys are going to carry that for the rest of their lives. My kids are going to carry that for the rest of their lives and go, if my mom overcame cancer this many times, I can get through anything.
Absolutely.
So, what would change for moms if we stopped asking, am I allowed to want this? And started asking, how can I make space for this in a way that honors both my family and myself? And we widen the conversation to talk about motherhood, goals, guilt, and putting the oxygen mask on ourselves. We know that it doesn't only apply to moms in the traditional sense, because this is for ADHD moms, for grandmothers, guardians, the bonus moms and aunties, and family caretakers who carry on so much for everyone else. And for anyone who's constantly making sure that everyone's okay and fed and scheduled and encouraged, we see you. And we hope this episode reminds you that your goals still matter, your running journey, your need for space, your desire to feel strong and clear headed and grounded and alive isn't selfish. So sometimes putting that mask on yourself first, it may look like a long run, and sometimes it looks like a short walk. It's whatever you need it to be. Sometimes it looks like signing up for that race, or like you said, Stephanie, that destination race. But asking for help, believing that you still are allowed to do something you want for yourself. You're allowed to have goals guilt free, and you're allowed to come back to yourself, and you're still allowed to run. And since we've been talking about the goals that keep calling us back to ourselves, it feels like the perfect place. And you know what's coming, Steph.
Friends or family discount. Like, what? Man, come on.
We're going to move into the songs that run us segment. No, you're not. You're not getting out of it. Just because you're my friend, you're not getting out of it. Because sometimes a song, it's more than background noise, because the thing that reminds you of who you are and what you're fighting for, why you're allowed to keep chasing something for yourself, it has to do with music sometimes. So, Stephanie, we asked you to bring us a song that runs you and it connects with your motherhood and your goals and your running journey in this sort of the season of your life for you. And I really wanted to code it with
Making
you.
Will
So Will's not
making
here,
Will mad.
and I did a heck of a lot of work decoding this, so you're not getting out of it.
So, I tried to make it as difficult for you as possible because, love you. Um, but "Eye of the Tiger" by a Survivor. When you went to
Where is it?
Philly and brought back
Oh
the
my god.
Rocky
Yeah.
sticker.
I brought a sticker back for Steph that had a Rocky quote on it, and then she told me one of her favorite songs to run to is, "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor from Rocky 3. I was like, "This is perfect." So I'll preface it, there are categories. I think we've mentioned on previous episodes, but in case you're joining us for the first time, we do the songs that the segment's called, "The Songs That Run Us," and we say that because there are these songs that we run to, but we've got those songs that run us. So there's that really motivate us, that really push us beyond what is a normal song. They get us out the door. That's one of the categories. So that's the one that gets the run started. We've got the lock in songs. That's the ones that settle us into the stride and our focus. They're usually mid run. The rescue song, the one that saves the run when it's going really bad. We've got the dangerous confidence song, the one that makes you feel way too elite, way too early. We've all been there. The emotional ambush song, the one that unexpectedly makes you feel like everything. You're about to pull over to the side of the road and cry your eyes out. And then we've got the final push song, the one that you call on when you need that grit to just get through whatever you're that that up that hill or through that final finish line push. So here we go. All right. So we can't play the song on the show because of licensing and all that. So hopefully if you haven't heard of the song before, "Eye of the Tiger" by the band Survivor, hopefully you get a chance to play the song and decode it with us. So if you do pause the podcast for a second and take a listen on your music streaming device of your choice. All right. So, Steph, when I listen to this, and I've heard this song a billion times growing up. I'm a kid of the '80s, so I know the song very well. And my son, actually, our son, who you know, Will, and I, when he was little, this was his favorite karaoke song to sing. I don't know if you knew
Nice.
that.
Well done, dude. Well
He
done.
loved this song. It's funny because he was like really into karate, and I don't know if they play the song to karate or whatever, but like he loved it. He would always just like do karate to the song, and then
Well, it's a perfect karate song.
yes. And he would just sing his heart out to the song with karaoke. Um, so I
My go-to karaoke song is My Humps
by Black Eyed
by
Peas.
Lovely Lady Lumps.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, what I get from this song is obviously resilience. And this is like so you. This song screams Stephanie. Like you, this is you altogether. Like every line of it. It's funny because like as much as I know the song and I know most of the lyrics, I was pulling it up because I just wanted to kind of go line by line. And I was go there. I'm like, this is like Stephanie's like cancer battle song. I could totally see her playing this like for every chemo session, every radiation. I could hear her playing this through the dopey challenge. Like anything that you've been through, I could totally see you playing this like before anything that you had to like really battle. So it's about resilience, um, getting back up again, staying
Like
in the
standing
fight.
up for yourself on holy boundaries.
The lyrically, it's about determination and confrontational, but in a positive way. But knowing your story, what makes me think this song hit deeper for you is it's more than just that classic pump up song. Um, as a mom and a cancer survivor, I think I can imagine the lyrics carrying you with a different weight. And you walk through some major battles at a very, very young age. And uh, life hit you with some incredible blows, like one after another. You haven't had a road that's been easily traveled. So it's kind of been like the soundtrack to your life. The song kind of feels like it could be speaking to the part of you that has to keep going and showing up and pushing when life's demanded way too much of you.
Yeah. One of the lines that really would get me during the PET scan drama was, "Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight to keep them alive." Because, I really thought that I was facing my mortality, and I wouldn't get to see my boys grow up and
Mm.
graduate and get married or meet my grandkids. And that's something I still kind of
Wow.
carry. And I know that's something that lives rent free in your head
Wow.
too, and it lives rent free in any cancer
That's heavy stuff, Steph,
survivor's
that you
head.
have been through. So I could see why this song has a lot of meaning to you in a lot of different ways. So that resilience, that survival, that grit to fighting, I could see why you picked that. Um, Decoding the musical composition. Um, when I move from the lyrics to the actual sound of the song, that's when it kind of gets even more, I would say, interesting because composition's doing, I think, a
Yes.
little bit more of the same emotional work as the lyrics. It kind of goes hand in hand. And I think it's interesting that the songwriters kind of did that. that first thing that kind of grabs me out of the gate when you turn the song on is that guitar riff is so sharp and repetitive and punchy.
I feel like it's like the
It's it's
heartbeat
it's disciplined, it's
of
locked and
life.
in
Yeah.
controlled and tight. It is tight. Um it's almost like a drum almost. It gives like that percussive feeling to it, you know.
Mhm.
Do, 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 do. Like it's a heartbeat, exactly. Yeah. It's very, very much like a heartbeat. There's no like softness to it. It creates almost like a push and pull tension, kind of to it. To There's like like a resolve, like straight out of you know, like as soon as the music starts, there's like a resolve right there. Um, uh, it repeats very steadily, and you could feel like that determination, like a runner kind of settling into it, your power. And I feel like that's what I get right out of the gate, even before the lyrics start. And if you think about back to Rocky One, with the theme song from that one, he's running up the art museum steps. It all kind of goes well with the theme of the movies. It goes well for a runner for Eye of the Tiger. You could see why that people run to that. That's on a lot of people's playlists for running. So I could see why people pick that as their theme song or a song that runs them. So, but then you've got that, the drums. They
'Cause you're, like, marching into the fight, and you have to be very centered. You have to be very centered and grounded.
not overly, complex. It's like a marching kind of feel, step after step kind of feel.
You have to be
Um,
very clear and level-headed when you're walking into a battle.
Yep. It's not chaotic. Like, Heather's song was Immortal, by, Fall Out Boy. There's a lot of chaos in that song. This is the total opposite.
There's
There's
a lot
such a
on the line.
steadiness and a straightforwardness about it. Um, Bass is definitely gives it a heaviness and a weight to it. It kinda makes it feel steady. It's like the basement of
Right.
the song. And, it gives it the kind of like the structure of it, the foundation that the song is kind of like grounded on. And while the guitar is giving it its edge, the bass is kind of like the foundation or the backbone of it. So, um, the vocals are, clear but kind of gritty at the same time. Um, and it sounds it's confident, but, uh almost like you're challenging somebody to a duel kind of vocals, kind of like you're ready to go after it, kind of don't you tell me I can't kind of vocals that clarity, emotional and vulnerable vocals. I would say overall the composition gives a lot of energy and a sense of endurance. So for any cancer survivor, the road of endurance is long. For a marathoner, it's about endurance. So I'd say endurance could be a lock in song, and it could also be a final push song. And like I said to you before we started recording, it was a little bit challenging to kind of narrow it down from
It's
like a lock in song and a final push song because we do have that marching and that
I don't
lock
think there's a
in.
wrong answer. I don't think there's a finite wrong answer on this one. Exactly.
So it could be both because I have songs that are both. So um, I don't think it's a emotional ambush song. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a get out the door song. Um, I really do think that the overall theme is an earned strength. Um, it's not a fake hype song. I don't think that it's a superficial thing. I think it's that survival turn into momentum into like this is what happens when someone is going through a really hard thing. Um, who shows up? It's an absolute 100% amazing long distance good running song. And the overall theme is not just grit with some history and perseverance and under pressure kind of survival forward motion song. It's a refusal to not lose yourself in it, which is perfect for today's theme of motherhood and not losing yourself in it. So that's why I was like, oh, this is perfect
Okay.
for the theme and the episode of motherhood and not losing your goals
All right.
and losing
So,
who you are.
this song comes on it first started coming on every time I opened Pandora when I was about to start my speed work, and it would just, like, energize me. So, I have used it for multiple occasions because it is just such a well-rounded can go any direction you need it to. It's such a versatile song. And one of the lyrics that just jumped out to me in relation to the theme of mothers is they
Mm.
stack the odds, still we take to the street. We will still continue to do what we need and want to do despite what is put on our plate. And even as cancer survivors too. The odds were against both of us for many
Mm.
times.
I got goosebumps. That's good.
And I still even get a monthly infusion of immunoglobulins because I have no immune system. And
Hmm.
still, we show up.
We can't choose our path in life sometimes, when things happen to us, they happen to us, we have to make the best of it. And I think a lot of times our the choices that we make in our life because when things happen to us, whether it's cancer, whether we end up in a situation where we have to make the best of a situation. We have um, a sick family member that we have to take care of, or special needs child that has needs more care and interventions didn't anticipate, or we have loss of a job or career and we're struggling.
Well, no, 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 because I think you're onto something is that when everything is feeling out of control, this is something that we can't control. We can control how we show up for ourselves. And in turn, how we show up for ourselves is how we show up for other people.
I couldn't have said it
Yeah.
better myself. It's tough because we can't always control the cards we're dealt. How things happen to us.
And look at
Things do
you.
happen.
You're in our little club too. You deserve to be among our ranks. I don't think I deserve to be in among anyone's ranks, but I know you, and I know that you have imposter syndrome like I do, but you deserve the same accolades.
You just do it.
And that doesn't mean that we're not gonna sit there and
You just do what you gotta
wallow in
do.
our own self-pity, but I always give myself a deadline, like, my pity party expires in a day or 2, and then
Oh,
just
thanks.
keep on going.
Just do what you gotta do, and you set those goals to just keep moving forward. Well, that was so much fun decoding your song, Steph, and it's kinda cool that it's so versatile that you could use it for a couple different types of categories of runs, so I wasn't way off then, I guess, if you use it for multiple ones.
A lot of insight being musically illiterate.
But I love looking at, like,
That's so
the,
cool.
piecing apart, looking at the composition and stuff. Because when I was an opera major, I had to, study, you know, um, all different types of, music compositions and, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, it was really fun. And just listening to it, you kind of take for granted all that goes into a song. And then I'm one of those people with ADHD that when I listen to a song and I'm on the trail, I listen to every little nuance and thing, and I pick apart things, and I can hear things that maybe the average person doesn't hear in the background of a song, different harmonies and different instruments and layered sounds. And I love it because it's interesting to me. I, the little idiosyncrasies. So I have fun when I decode, and so does Will. So he missed out on this one. This was a good one. So he'll be joining me for episode 13, which is the start of season 2. So, and we'll be definitely having you back on the show. So,
Yes, yes, Laura has a lot more friends, people. Just I have the most availability.
well, I love having you on. I thought you were definitely the perfect person for this conversation because we do have a lot of discussions about, our neurodivergence and motherhood and running, and
And then and our neurospicy kids.
there are definitely a lot of similarities. So we could definitely appreciate it. Um, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, Stephanie,
Of
for
course.
joining us today and being so honest in the conversation. So you're definitely always honest up front with us and our listeners, and grateful you shared your heart and your perspective. It's real life motherhood stuff and talking ADHD and guilt and running and goals. And I honestly think a lot of listeners are going to see and hear themselves in everything you shared today.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And every mom and grandmom and guardian, bonus mom, aunt, caretaker, runner listening, I just appreciate you. Will also appreciates you spending time with us. And I just hope that this episode reminded you that your goals still matter, your miles still matter, and your space matters. Taking that time for yourself really matters. It really is what helps you keep showing up with more patience and presence and more joy to be the best you that you can be for your family, your friends, your coworkers. And if this episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to share it with someone who may need that reminder. And if you're enjoying Wired to Run, leave a rating or review, which helps more runners find the show, more runners, walkers, athletes find the show. And if you want to come hang out with us on Instagram at Wired to Run Pod, and on Facebook at Wired to Run Podcast, that'd be awesome. Until next time, keep giving yourself permission to chase those goals that make you feel alive.
Let's lace up, lock in, and let's go the distance.
As you all know, we are just here sharing our experiences as ADHD runners. Don't take anything here as medical or mental health advice. Always seek out advice from your own medical and mental health professionals.